What's up guys, Justin here with the CG Essentials, back with another Blender tutorial for you. So in today's video, we're going to do an introduction to creating animations with moving geometry inside of Blender. So in this video, we're going to teach you how the animation workspace works, as well as to create our first animation inside of Blender. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so we're going to create this animation using the animation workspace. So that's going to be one of the tabs, and note this is in version 2.82, so if you have a different version, this might look a little bit different. But what we're going to do in this situation is we're going to go up and we're going to click on the animation tab. What the animation tab is going to do is that's going to contain the tools that we're going to use to create our animations. And so notice that when I click on this animation tab, I basically get three windows in here. So I get a window that's basically my modeling workspace. I get a window over here that's a preview of the animation that we're going to be creating, and I get a window down below that contains information about the different movements that we're going to have over time. So those three are going to work together to help us create our animations. And so what I want to do to start off is I want to delete out my default cube and I want to add a plane. So I'm just going to click in here, do a Shift A, and add a plane. We're going to scale that up a little bit, probably to about right here. And so notice that when I made this change over here in my workspace, this view over here changed as well. So this view is basically an animation of what you're seeing through your camera. So for example, if I was to tap 0 on my numpad, you can see how this goes over, and this gives us a very similar view to what we're seeing over here. So this camera is going to be what dictates our view of our animation. And so what we want to do is we want to add a UV sphere. So to do that, we're going to type Shift A, and then under Mesh, we're going to add a UV sphere. And I'm going to start by moving that up a little bit. So if I zoom in and look at this, I'm just going to tap the G key and then the Z key in order to move this up. And we're going to move this up by 1 meter. So go ahead and hit the 1 on your keyboard. And so now what we have is we just have a sphere on our face. And so right now this isn't super interesting. Like if you click and drag on this, nothing really happens. And that's because we haven't given this any information about the actual animation we want to create. And so to start off, what we want to do is we want to move our sphere so it's kind of out of the camera view. So I'm just going to type G, and then I'm going to type the Y key in order to lock this to the Y axis. And so notice when I move this, this updates on the left hand side of my screen. I'm just going to move it until it's off my screen, so it's out of my view. Well, now what we need to do is we need to store the information about where our object is in our scene. So notice right now, this down here below is on 1. And so what this is this is basically a timeline of the different movements and objects that are going to be inside of our scene. And so you can see how right now this gives us kind of a time. These are numbers of frames inside of our animation, and you can see how this is currently set to start at 1 frame and end at 250 frames. And so what we want to do is we want to add what's known as a keyframe. A keyframe is basically storing the information about the current state of an object over time. So what we're going to do, because we moved this out of the way, is we're going to type the I key in our keyboard. And you're going to notice that's going to pop up a menu of different keyframes that we can add. So you can see how all of these different things can be stored and animated. Well, in this situation, what we want to do is we want to store the location. The location is going to be basically the XY location of the object at any given time. So if I click on location, you're going to notice what this does is this pops up this little thing in my window down below that says object transforms. And what this is indicating to us is this is indicating that this is stored at frame 1, the object transformation data associated with that cube or that sphere. And so if I click this little drop down right here, you're going to notice, and I may need to move my screencast keys, so just a second. There we go. We'll move those up so that they're right here. But now if I click on that object, notice that this information is now showing up in here. And this basically tells us that this has information about the X, Y, and Z location of the sphere. If I click off of the sphere, you're going to notice that that goes away. So this information is being stored with this object. So when I click on this object, it comes up. If I click on my plane, it goes away. But what we want to do now is we want to animate the motion of our sphere. So what we want is we want our object to move over here in our animation. So in order to do that, we're going to start by setting our keyframe of when we want this to be. So in this situation, I'm going to move this over to 30. So when I move this over to 30, this means that if I insert a new keyframe, it's going to be placed at 30 frames into my animation. And so then what we can do is we can tap the G key and then the Y key in order to move this. And notice how this sphere is basically moving across my camera view right now. Well, what I want to do is I want to click in order to place this, and then I want to type the I key again and insert a location keyframe. And so what you're going to notice here is you're going to notice that now this pops up a new set of dots in here, or a new set of data. So this data is now new data for the XY location of our object. And so notice that now, if we drag this slider, you're getting a movement between the first keyframe and the second keyframe. So what Blender does is Blender animates a transition between where we had this originally and where we have it now. And so if I was to click the play button, so if I was to click on this right here, you can see how this is going to play an animation of my sphere moving across my screen. And notice that this continues to play because the length of this animation is 250 frames. So this is the entire animation is going to be 30 frames of movement and then 250 frames of nothing because I don't have any data over here. And we'll adjust that length in a second. But this has allowed us to animate the movement on the XYZ coordinate system of an object. Not only do I want to animate the location, I also want to animate the rotation because I want this sphere to look like it's rolling. So what we want to do is when we move this across here to this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into my object data on the right hand side under the transform section. So we're in the object properties tab under transform, and what I want to do is in this situation I want to rotate my x-axis, but I don't want it to rotate back that way. I want it to rotate the other way. And see how you can basically set whatever value in here that you want, but let's say that we wanted this to turn 360 degrees along the x-axis. What we could do is we could type in a value of negative 360. And so then what we can do is we can type I and we can add a rotation keyframe inside of our animation. So basically what that's going to do is that's going to now add in additional data having to do with the rotation of our object. So before we only had the location data, but now we have the rotation data. And so if I click and drag this, you're going to notice that this isn't animating this rolling. And so the reason that this isn't rolling is because I've set a keyframe for my X animation right here, but I didn't set a base keyframe over here. So what I need to do is I need to drag this to the left, and I'm going to set my rotation to 0. And so when I set my rotation to 0, notice that what I can do over here is I can actually click on these different objects. So for this one, for example, I can animate this property. So what that's going to do is that's going to add a keyframe wherever my timeline currently is. So if I click on this little diamond right here, what that's going to do is that's now added a keyframe at this point. Well, now, if you click and drag this, you're going to notice that this is actually animating the rotation between a rotation of 0 and a rotation of negative 360 degrees in my animation. And so if I click play, you can see how this is showing this rolling across the screen. And so one thing about this that I don't currently like is I don't like how short it is. So you can't really see what's happening, right? You come in here, you click play, and this goes so fast that you can't actually see it turning. Well, what we want to do is the objects down here, the points in your timeline, can be moved or adjusted using the same tools that you can use up here. So for example, I can click and drag to select these, and then if I type the G key, this is going to allow me to move these points. So you can see how I can move these points to whatever point that I want. So let's say instead of having this be 30 frames, I can move these down here to the 100. So if I click on that, now you can see how I have the same animation, but instead of animating between 1 keyframe and 30, or 1 frame and 30 frames, this is now animating between 1 frame and 100 frames. So if I click play, You can see how this rolls across my screen, but it rolls across my screen much slower than it did before. And so let's say that we wanted this object to move back to where it was originally. So we've got our object right here rolling across the screen. Let's say we wanted this to also roll back to where it was before. Well, what we could do in order to do this, and this would be really easy, is we can just click and drag across these, and we can do a Shift D to duplicate those keyframes. And so now, notice that if I move this across here, all of those properties have been duplicated. Well, now if you look at this, this is going to roll back to its original location. So if I click on this, or if I move this over to 1 and I click play, you can see how in my preview this ball is rolling across, and then it's going to roll back across this screen as well. So you can use this in order to animate that in your animation. And so what I probably want to do is I want to go ahead and change the overall length of my animation, because right now I've got a whole bunch of dead space in here, like 50 frames of dead space. Well, we can go in here and click on this object, or this little button right here, type in a value of 200. Now my animation is exactly 200 frames long. So instead of having all that extra in here, I've got 100 frames of this rolling across this way. I've got 100 frames of this rolling across the other way. And then if this plays again, it's going to loop. So this will actually loop perfectly if we want it to do that. And so what I want to do is I want to animate my camera movement. And so we can animate the camera movement in the same way that we can this object. So we're just going to click on our camera, type the I key, and we're going to insert location data for this. We're also going to insert rotation data. And so notice that this has brought our location data as well as our rotation information inside of this. There's a little trick you can follow that makes setting your camera up really easy. All you need to do is tap the 0 key to get into your camera view, and then if you type in, and we're going to look under view, there's a button for lock camera to view. And so what that means is that now you can live edit or adjust this camera. So this camera will move based on my location data right here. So what we want is we want to set this camera so that it's zoomed out a little bit, and then we want to update our keyframes, because right now we want to update our keyframes when we do that, because right now if we zoom out and then click, you can see how this is resetting our camera view. That's because we haven't stored our camera data in the object transforms down below. So what we want to do is we want to zoom out right here, and then under key, we want to click on insert keyframes, and we want to insert keyframes for all channels. And so what that means is that's going to update all of the keyframes associated with this camera. So now if I was to zoom in or click out of this, you can see how when I click on this, all of that data got stored in the camera. So it's now set as a keyframe right here. And so what I want to do is over the course of my 100 frames, I want my camera to rotate across. So I just want my camera to move. And so I'm just going to pan my camera to the view that I want, or pan and rotate my camera to the view that I want on the other side. So we'll set this camera to be right here. And what we want to do, and I don't necessarily want that to zoom, so we're just going to do a key, insert keyframes. We're going to insert keyframes for all channels. And so what that's going to do is now you're going to notice that this has updated your camera location inside of this camera view. So now if I click play, my camera is going to animate between those different locations. And so now if we wanted to, we could type the 0 key to get out of that view and look at this. You can actually see your camera animating inside of this scene. So you can see how this animates across, but notice it's not animating back. So let's go ahead and let's animate our camera back to where it was originally. So to do that, we're just going to click on our camera, and remember we can click across these and do a Shift D to duplicate, and we're just going to move these to our 200 right here. So now if we click play, you can see how in our camera view, or our preview mode, our camera view is moving with this ball or with this sphere, and you can see how this is also being animated up here just because this is showing us the live location of that camera. And so what we want to do now is we want to get this ready for rendering. And so in order to do that, we're going to click on our output properties, and notice in your output properties you can set the resolution of your animation as well as the frame start and end of your animation. In this case, I want to export the whole thing. You can also set the frame rate. So remember, more frames is going to be smoother, but it's also going to create a larger file size. And then down below, you can set where this is stored. So I'm going to set this to the folder that I want. I'm going to click on accept, and then notice that you can set your file format. So generally speaking, if you want a number of images, you can select PNG, and so what that'll do is this will export these as individual images into that folder. And then you can stitch them together with your own program separately, or you can also select different kinds of movies over here. So I think usually we go with the FFmpeg video, and so you can also set this to export that as an actual video. And so under this drop down, there's also different things like different codecs you can use and other things like that. We're going to leave this as is, and once we're happy with what we have, we're going to go up to render. We're going to click on render animation. So what this is going to do is this is going to go through and this is going to render out our animation, and then it'll store it inside of the location that we had selected. So we're going to let this work, then we'll come back and take a look at it. And so now if we go into that folder, you can see how this created a file. And if I double click on this file, you can see how this is my video that I created. So it's a rendered view of this sphere moving back and forth. Obviously there's different things we could do with our camera angle and other things like that. You could also set this up to repeat in your video editor. So if you wanted this to go over and over and over again, you could also do that, because this should loop pretty seamlessly. So that's where I'm going to end this video. We will get further in depth into animations on the channel. I wanted to give you kind of an introduction, high-level view to creating animations inside of Blender. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Was this helpful to you? Have you been creating animations in Blender? I just love having that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new Blender content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.